If we had to have only one currency, what would it be? Naturally, I want to answer, the US dollar. Because it is the most stable currency. And it is the reference currency to which other currencies are valued and compared. If we had to have only one currency for the entire world, it would be the US dollar. Understand that this would not only empower the poorest countries, but it would also empower the most populated countries. This would therefore be beneficial for the so-called southern countries. The difference is therefore made in our currencies. And the most marketable economy has the highest dividends because each currency compares itself to the dollar. I am talking about the US dollar. The dollar is the most used currency for global trade. It is the reference. If you are wondering how much your currencies are worth, compare them to the dollar. This will give you a degree of the success rate of your currency. If the euro is worth more than the dollar, it is because the euro has a greater purchasing power than the dollar. First of all, the combined GDP of Europe is greater than that of the United States. And furthermore, Europe is a much bigger buyer of American goods than America is of Europe. The American dollar is weaker than the euro because the American is a seller to the European who is a buyer. In other words, the euro buys many more dollars than the dollar buys euros. This is why it is better for sales that the dollar is weaker. It is more attractive for sales to sell cheaper and be the first customer. Europe's first partner in capital is the United States. But just as the United States has a domestic market that boosts the dollar, Europe is the first in terms of gross domestic market. This means that trade in euros is boosted within the eurozone by euros. And this has the effect of making the European currency stronger, as could have been a single currency of exchange in Africa. But Africans trade very little among themselves anyway. The money of the euro pulls its strings from the European common market. In the same way that the English pound sterling draws its value from the history of the United Kingdom. Simply understand that history has an additional value. It was only after their War of Independence, between 1776 and 1783, against the United Kingdom, that the United States, 2 years later, adopted their single currency, the dollar, in 1785. Historically, the dollar comes from the pound sterling, hence the symbol of having the pound sterling stronger than the dollar. England is not really a country that sells, it is a country that buys. Hence the usefulness of having a strong currency for buying. A weak currency for buying means that we are losing and can't afford to buy. Also, a weak currency means that it is easier to sell to the scammer. In the same way, the Canadian $20 bill has the face of the Queen of England as a juxtaposition. As if to tie our ties to the Commonwealth. We belong to America, right? Yes, but we also have an affiliation with England, Australia, and all the Commonwealth countries. Lastly, how do we evaluate our currencies? It is the same for gold. How do we evaluate the price of commodities? If gold is abundant in a market, it radically loses its value. The added value is therefore made by the scarcity of a good or commodity. The oldest currency, with more than 1,200 years of existence, and still existing, is the pound sterling. Hence its historical value. It has been able to withstand time.